Picture this. Year 873, northern Norway. The sun just dropped below the horizon, and it is not coming back for many, many hours. There is a longhouse sitting at the edge of a forest, smoke rising from the roof. Inside, maybe 40 people are preparing to sleep. Farmers, children, old women, warriors home from raids. They are lying down on wooden benches along the walls, wrapped in furs, breathing slow. Outside, wolves. Actual wolves, not metaphorical ones. Bears too. And somewhere in the hills, men from a rival clan are watching, waiting. Now here is the thing that will keep you up tonight. That longhouse has no door. I mean it, no door. A leather flap maybe, a hanging cloth, but nothing solid, nothing locked. Just an opening between the people inside and everything terrible outside. So how did anyone sleep? How did entire generations of Vikings close their eyes at night knowing that literally anything could walk in? This question bothered me for months, and the answer completely changed how I think about survival, community, and what safety actually means. First, we need to kill the Hollywood Viking. You know the one, big guy, sleeps alone in the snow with nothing but an axe and his massive courage. Laughs at danger, fears nothing. That guy never existed. Real Vikings were scared of the dark. They had every reason to be. When the sun went down in Scandinavia 1,000 years ago, it got dark in a way modern people cannot really understand. No electricity, no streetlights, no flashlights. Your fire gives you maybe 10 feet of visibility. Beyond that, black, complete black. And in that black, things moved. The old Norse texts do not hide this. Night was personified as Nut, a mysterious goddess riding a dark horse. She was not comforting. She was unknowable, dangerous. The Vikings built an entire mythology around how terrifying darkness was. So no, they were not fearless. They were smart. There is a difference. Okay, so let us talk about what we actually know, what the ground tells us. Archaeologists have been digging up Viking settlements for over a century now. Norway, Denmark, Sweden, Iceland, even Greenland. And the longhouses they find share some very consistent features. Long, sometimes over 30 meters, built from timber and turf, one big open room inside, a fire pit running down the center, and along both walls, raised wooden platforms where people slept. Not bedrooms, platforms, everyone in one room. Grandparents next to children, next to farmhands, next to the family who owned the place. Bodies lined up like sardines, sharing warmth, sharing space, sharing air. And the entrances? This is where it gets interesting. At most sites, archaeologists find post holes and foundation stones that show exactly where doorways were, but they do not find evidence of solid doors, no hinge hardware. No door frames built to support heavy wood. What they find instead are signs of lighter coverings, leather, woven fabric, sometimes just empty space. At Borg in the Lofoten Islands, at Stong in Iceland, at the Trelleborg sites in Denmark, same pattern. Open or semi-open entrances, no locks, no barriers. This was not primitive. They had the technology. Vikings built ships that crossed the Atlantic. They could have built doors. They chose not to. Why would you choose to leave your home open to the night? Think about it from their perspective. That fire in the middle of the longhouse, it was everything. Heat, light, cooking. It burned constantly, and it produced a massive amount of smoke. Now, imagine sealing that room up with solid doors. Where does the smoke go? Nowhere. It fills the space. People choke, people die. The open entrance and gaps in the roof created airflow. Smoke went up and out. Fresh air came in. Everyone kept breathing. Solid doors would have killed them faster than wolves. Then there is the escape problem. Vikings knew their enemies. They had enemies because they made enemies. Raiding was part of life. And when you raid other people, sometimes other people raid you back. A sealed room with one solid door is a death trap. Your enemies block that door or set it on fire, and you are finished. An open entrance means options, multiple ways out. Grab your weapon and move. They were not ignorant. They were calculating risk, and open entrances made sense. But the dangers were real. Let us not pretend otherwise. Wolves were everywhere in medieval Scandinavia, not the shy, human-avoiding wolves we have today. Wolves that had learned humans meant food, livestock, stored meat, scraps. A wolf pack circling a settlement at night was routine. Bears, too. Brown bears looking to fatten up before winter. A bear will absolutely investigate a building full of food smells. They are not polite about it. And then the human threats. The sagas are full of night attacks, enemies creeping up in darkness, burning longhouses with people inside, ambushes while everyone slept. This was not paranoia. This was history. Plus the fire itself. That essential fire in the center of your home, one spark in the wrong place and the whole structure goes up. Timber walls, straw bedding, dry wood everywhere. Fire was life and fire was death, sleeping right there next to you. Every single night, Viking families faced this. Wolves outside, enemies maybe nearby, fire in the middle of the room, and no door between them and any of it. How did they handle this? Here is where everything clicks into place. The Vikings did not try to keep danger out. They built a system to deal with danger when it came. Start with how they arranged themselves. Those sleeping platforms were not random. The strongest people slept closest to the entrance. Grown men, capable women, the fighters. Behind them, further inside, the children and elderly. If something came through that entrance at night, it would hit a wall of adults first. This was deliberate. This was planned. The fire placement mattered too. Beyond just warmth, that fire served as a motion detector. Any large shape passing through the entrance would block the firelight for a moment. A shadow would flicker across the walls. Even a sleeping person notices a change in light. It wakes you up. You do not know why, but suddenly your eyes are open. Then the dogs. Every single Viking settlement we have excavated shows evidence of dogs, not pets, the way we think of pets. Working animals, alarm systems with teeth. A dog hears things you cannot hear, smells things from hundreds of meters away. When a dog growls in the middle of the night, you wake up, you grab your weapon, you get ready. Vikings did not have motion sensors. They had dogs, and dogs worked. Many households also kept watch. Not everyone slept at the same time. Someone stayed awake, fed the fire, watched the entrance, listened. Then woke someone else and slept while they took over, rotating shifts through the night. And there were signals, specific shouts or sounds that meant danger. If one person yelled that signal, everyone woke up instantly. Not one person responding to a threat, 30 people all at once. This is the key. Vikings did not survive the night because they had walls between them and danger. They survived because they had each other. This goes deeper than just physical survival. There is a psychological layer here that matters. Fear does not disappear just because you have people around you. You have to do something with that fear, process it somehow. Vikings told stories at night. Before sleep, the household gathered. Someone would tell a saga. Thor fighting monsters, Odin sacrificing his eye for wisdom, ancestors who faced impossible odds and won anyway. These stories were not entertainment. They were training. They taught you that fear was normal, but courage was possible. They connected you to people who had survived worse than whatever might be outside tonight. Ritual mattered too. Prayers to the gods, small offerings. The act of doing something, anything, gave people a sense of control. When you feel helpless, fear takes over. When you feel like you have some power over your situation, fear becomes manageable. And the simple presence of other bodies. There is actual science behind this now. Researchers call it social thermoregulation. When humans are physically close to other humans they trust, their stress hormones drop, heart rate slows, anxiety decreases. This is biological. This is evolution. A person sleeping alone in the wilderness wakes at every sound, heart pounding, cannot relax. The same person sleeping, surrounded by family, sleeps deeper, calmer, longer. Vikings did not know the science, but they absolutely understood the effect. Sleeping together was not just about warmth. It was about surviving the night psychologically. Does any of this actually work, though? Can we test it? Yes, people have tested it. Experimental archaeologists have built replica longhouses at sites across Scandinavia. They have spent nights in them, winter nights, no electricity, no modern heating. Just fire and bodies, and the original Viking setup. The reports are consistent. Body heat from many people keeps the space survivable, even in deep cold. Dogs absolutely wake up when animals approach. The fire does cast warning shadows. The rotating watch system is sustainable without exhausting anyone. And here is the really interesting part. Predators avoid these setups. Wolves and bears are not stupid. They are actually very careful. A lone human in the woods might look like food. 30 humans clustered together with fire and dogs and weapons, that looks like a fight. Predators do not want fights. They want easy meals. The Viking longhouse, wide open as it was, presented exactly the wrong target profile for predators. Too many humans, too much risk, not worth it. The system worked because it was designed by people who understood their environment deeply. Now think about how we live today. We have locks, deadbolts, security cameras, alarm systems, reinforced doors. We sleep in separate rooms, in separate houses, on separate properties. We have more physical barriers than any Vikings could have imagined. And we are terrified. Anxiety disorders are at record levels. Sleep problems are epidemic. People wake up at night feeling unsafe despite every technological protection money can buy. We install more cameras, buy more locks, and still cannot shake the feeling that something is wrong. The Vikings would find this baffling. We have sealed ourselves away from each other in pursuit of individual safety, and in doing so, we lost something they understood instinctively. Safety is not about walls. Safety is about people. When a Viking asked himself who would protect him while he slept, he had an answer. His family, his household, his dogs, his community. When we ask ourselves that question, what do we say? The lock on the door? The camera in the corner? Something has been lost. 1,000 years ago, Vikings faced the night without doors. They had wolves and bears and human enemies and fire, all threatening them simultaneously. They did not try to eliminate these threats. They could not. Instead, they built their entire way of life around coexisting with danger. They slept in groups. They positioned bodies strategically. They kept dogs. They rotated watches. They told stories and performed rituals and stayed physically close to people they trusted. And they survived, generation after generation, century after century. In some of the harshest environments humans have ever inhabited. Not because they were braver than us, not because dangers were smaller than we imagine, because they understood something fundamental about human survival that we have forgotten. You do not beat the night by building higher walls. You beat the night by making sure that when something comes for you, you are not facing it alone. The longhouses are gone now. Just post holes in foundation stones and scattered artifacts. But the lesson remains. Somewhere tonight, someone is lying awake in a locked house, surrounded by security technology, feeling completely unsafe. And 1,000 years ago, a Viking farmer slept peacefully in an open room with 40 other people and a dog and a dying fire between him and the forest. He was not protected by barriers. He was protected by belonging. The Vikings did not sleep behind doors. They slept inside each other's vigilance. And somehow, that was enough.